What if I told you that there's a silent killer affecting your skin and immune system? One you may not even know exists. In today's episode, Dr. Ebru, a global expert in immunology and skin health, breaks down the science behind inflammaging, a process that accelerates aging in your skin due to chronic inflammation. We also dive into her groundbreaking research on estrogen, how it impacts immune balance, and yes, even her take on the Barbie movie. Tune in for a mix of science, self-care, and pop culture that will change the way you view aging and your body's health. This is episode 72, Inflammaging, the silent skin killer you need to know about. Welcome to Healing with Haley. I'm your coach, Haley Kirk. On this podcast, we dive into ways to heal, embrace, and truly love our lives. Here's my belief. So much of our suffering comes from what we believe. I'm here to help you understand your mind and question those thoughts to start your healing journey. Ready to get started? Let's go. Welcome, podcasters. So I have an amazing guest today. We have Dr. Ebru here, who is recognized as an immunologist, and molecular medicine expert, and a certified health and wellness coach for over 25 years of research in inflammation, hormonal immunity, and skin health. And she also is the founder of AveSeena. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Haley. It's amazing to be here.
Yeah. So tell us your journey. I always love to start with the backstory. What got you interested in immunology? Tell us that whole background.
Immunology. Yeah. That was when I was an undergrad. And I don't know if you remember the movie Outbreak,
Yes. With the monkeys?
Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
I was, I think, in my last year in undergrad, and that movie came out, and I went to see it. I love Dustin Hoffman. And it, was like, this is so cool. And then I had an elective, like an immunology class, and I took that class. And our professor, he was like Sean Connery. I mean, the sound, the looks, everything. So,
ooh, like, yum.
Nice. But he was amazing. He didn't ask any questions, like classical questions. And one of the questions we had during a final was, you have your immune system. Your immune system is being invaded by a bacteria. Draw it, draw it on the paper. And I loved drawing. So that was it was amazing for me. So that's how I got into immunology, because it is so fascinating. It's the thing that keeps you alive. And it's your private army, your SWAT team, your spies and everything. So it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. That's so cool. I love that your teacher was hot.
Oh, he was. Actually, my mom was also his professor.
Your mom was his professor.
Oh, yeah. My mom is a pathologist, and she's retired now. But you know what? It was interesting. I learned it when I graduated. He never told me. Like, I figured out when they met during the graduation. I was like, you guys know each other?
That's so crazy.
Probably all my grades were going to her. What I was doing in class and everything. But he was very cool.
That's amazing. What a small world.
Oh yeah. It's very small.
So pathology is the study of diseases, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm not a pathologist. That's my mom.
An immunologist is one who studies your immune system.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because I'm going to ask the dumb questions, because I'm like,
oh, no dumb questions. None whatsoever.
When you said your mom was a pathologist, I was like, okay, pathology. Oh, like the game Pandemic, like where you have to figure out the diseases. That's so cool. So what drew you to the study of inflammation and hormonal immunity in the first place?
During my PhD, I focused on two subjects. One of them was, and both of them were hormone related. One of them was how estrogen induces or saves cells from cell death, which is called apoptosis. That's the normal death. And if there is any NDs listening, there's the apoptosis and the necrosis. Necrosis, cells go explode. Apoptosis is normal death. So, so that was one part of my studies. But I usually when you're doing a PhD, you select a couple subjects, and whichever takes root, you follow that. In my case, that was inflammation. So my focus was how estrogen regulates inflammation, why women have stronger immune systems, and why do they get more autoimmunity. So in addition to that, I also work with estrogenic chemicals like DS, genistein, bisphenol A to see how, like, they're all estrogenic chemicals, mimics estrogen. So I was trying to figure out what is their impact on the immune system as well, because we're somehow exposed to all these chemicals, unfortunately. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
So what chemicals are we exposed to, you said? That we're not supposed to? So we're not supposed to be exposed to certain chemicals?
Genistein, zearalenone, these are we are exposed to it somehow in some way. Not too much DES. DES is diethylstilbestrol. That was given to women in the 60s and 70s, thinking that it was going to help with pregnancies. However, that wasn't the case. Yes. And what happened was the babies who were born didn't have limbs sometimes. And fortunately, that also carried to F2 generation. We call it F2 generation. So for the first round of babies that come is F1, and their babies is F2 generation. So that genetic disturbance was carried to F2 generation, which was scary. So, it's
meaning, so if I'm hearing what you're saying, there was this chemical given to women to help with pregnancy, but they didn't see it until their grandbabies. The women who
saw it with the firstborns, the first babies. They didn't have limbs or arms or sometimes legs. So that happened with the first generation, the first generation. But the second generation of, the babies that were born with the defects,
their
babies were also affected. So that was and the justification back then when they used to give this to cows, livestock, so they would have better pregnancies and bigger calves. So they figured, oh, it works on animals, let's try it on humans. And there it goes. So, of course, science is not like that today. They're odd. I mean, we're talking about 60s, where they general surgeon would give cigarettes for anxiety and losing weight and all that, and was recommended by the general surgeon, So hopefully we changed it a little bit and we're not doing that anymore.
For reals. Oh my goodness. That actually makes me think. I've been doing some interesting dives into women's just research in general, because it sounds like, at least from what I've heard so far and learned so far, is that a lot of medicine actually has only been done on men, and it's not been done necessarily on women, like research participants, that a lot of the medicine hasn't really been tested to see if it's as effective on women.
Well, it depends on what kind of medicine. That's one thing. Second of all, women's immune system and receptivity is different than men because we go through hormonal changes, like your response when you were 17 years old versus 25 years old versus when you're in menopause are completely different. However, men are more stable compared to us. They don't go through the drastic hormonal changes we go every month. For example, when I started my PhD studies, the big professor said, oh, there's no way estrogen would affect the immune system. Estrogen is in the uterus and it affects the reproductive organs. I'm like, have you ever seen a woman during periods losing their mind, going through anxiety, and eating a cup of ice cream and crying at the same time watching not Notebook? No, maybe not very. Either you don't have a wife or you don't have a daughter. You have one person. And I actually said this to a professor, and he was like,
I'm proud of you. Yes, ma'am.
like, what do you expect? We go through every kind of, like, during the reproductive time of your period, you're loving, you want to cuddle, because that's what evolution drives us. We need to reproduce. And then you have your period, you're the devil's hind leg. You don't want anybody. You just like, leave it alone, because
Ew.
produce, you don't have any eggs to fertilize. So the nature makes you do that. And then you go like, and they ask us like, are you okay today? I'm like, don't say that to me.
That's offensive.
But it's hard. It's hard very hard. And especially when you're going through a pregnancy, you have a toddler, you remember.
Right.
I don't like, they say, oh, you're pregnant. It's so much fun. I can't get up. My legs are swollen. I want to eat sushi. I can't eat sushi. I can't. Every time I look at something, I just want to barf. It's hell. Like my husband. And that's the thing. It's hard. It's very hard to be a woman.
Yeah, there's so much to it, right? Like there's so many changes. There's that emotional up and down. It's chaotic.
Very chaotic. And that there's society pressure. You gotta look pretty. You gotta do this. You gotta be nice. I love that monologue at Barbie. If you have watched Barbie.
Oh yeah.
There is this monologue, you can't win. That is so true. You can't win.
Is it at the very end? The very end?
The very end where Ken took over the Barbie land. I watched that movie like probably 10 times by now, thanks. But it is, I think that's the core of that movie. Like pretty much it, that you can't win. If they train you to be a strong, independent woman, to think for yourself, and then you go to work and there's lots of mansplaining. I'm like, you're not doing that. Don't do that, And if you're too strong, you are bitchy. If weak, they take advantage. There's no way of winning at all. Like if I was a guy, I would have been at like, I don't know, a company CEO or something. That's valid for most of the women, unfortunately. But I think women are very strong. Very, very strong. Because we can do we can multitask. Oh my God, we can multitask.
Yeah. Yeah, we have that gift for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have friends and they say it's like, oh, I have, I'm afraid of this. I have a problem with this. Everybody goes through trauma, right?
Right.
Traumas. Everybody has their traumas. But I don't believe in traumas. It's a very strong teacher, a trauma.
Yeah.
I got, yeah. My thing went dead. Let's switch that.
There you
go. Yeah, I think the camera went dead. So, yeah, I mean, we can talk till the cows come home. That's
it. Yeah. So back on the hormones, I thought that was so interesting what you're saying. And in your bio, when I was reading it, it says that you were the first to discover how estrogen impacts immune balance. So explain what that means. Explain in simple terms to us what that means.
Sure.
So cool.
So the inflammatory pathway in the body, there is T helper 1 type pathway and T helper 2 pathway. If we only think about T cells, okay? In the immune system, there's T cells, B cells, macrophages, all that. So if we think about the T cells, the Th1 is the inflammation, the Th2 is kind of anti-inflammatory. So that needs to be in a balance. It's like a seesaw. But for example, a virus comes in, let's say, your Th1 type cytokines and cells get activated. So that side of the seesaw goes up. But after the microbes and the bacteria are cleared up, that goes down. But however, sometimes the bacteria stays around and the Th1 type can't get rid of it. Then the Th2 goes up, which produces cytokines to stimulate B cells to produce antibodies. It's a beautiful system. So one of my first, I'm the first who ever shown that estrogen increases certain cytokines in that inflammatory pathway, which is one of them is TBET as a transcription factor, nitric oxide, INOS, that's a cytokine, that kind of thing. So yeah, I was the first to show those. And that was the nerdy part.
Yeah, I got quite lost. But so essentially there's different types of cells in the immune system, T1 and T2.
Yes, you think like to have an army, right? Your
Okay.
army would have cavalry, foot soldiers, planes, tanks. So every cell in the immune system has a certain activity and certain function.
Yeah.
So, like for example, your macrophages and the innate immune system part, that's your first time like foot soldiers that's in the front, and they are board like keeping at the border, like defending the border. But sometimes they're not enough. Then they say, hey, the cavalry needs to come in. Then Th1 cells come in and start putting ammunition there. So when you think about it, it's so much fun, actually.
Yeah, I like that. I love that visual. I can see it. I'm like, okay,
There's actually a cartoon, Osmosis Jones. That kind of showed the immune system there. It's great. It's for kids, but it's fantastic.
It's called Osmosis Jones.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
90s cartoon, but it's really good.
Osmosis Jones. Okay, I'm gonna link it. I'm gonna link it in the show notes. That's so cute. Osmosis Jones. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's like an actual cartoon.
It is. But it's good for kids because it's not scary. It shows the blood is normal, the rest of the cells are normal. So it's easy for them to relate with the biological information.
That's so cute. Yeah, I see. Okay, so then there we have this infantry. We have all these different like layers of the army, or like army, navy, like those kinds of things. So then tell us what you did in our kind of scenario.
So in that scenario, your cells are affected by everything that goes into your body. Like even when you're stressed, cortisol goes up, it affects your immune system, how it responds to things. Because for example, when you get stressed, you get sick faster, right? So that's one of the reasons, because cortisol goes up and then it suppresses the immune system because your brain is focusing on that problem instead of fighting with the viruses and whatnot. So that's why you get sick easily when you are stressed. What I did was, so women have stronger immune system because evolutionary we're designed to give birth and take care of the babies, right? So that's why we have a stronger immune system than men, because we have to have the genetic information continue, the human race to continue. That's our duty, technically.
Wow. I love that.
Basic level. So that gives us superhero powers, let's say. Yeah. That's why your immune system is very strong. That's what I was looking at. How estrogen impacts the immune system. Why is it stronger? What is it stimulating? What are the pathways involved in this? Molecular pathways. However, every superpower, like in every Marvel comics, comes with a little weakness.
Right. Like a kryptonite. Yeah.
Our kryptonite as women, we're more prone to autoimmune diseases.
Right.
There's a genetic component to it. There's a hormonal component to it. But interestingly enough, when women with autoimmune diseases, if they get pregnant, Okay. The estrogen level goes so high when you're pregnant. What happens is that increased level of estrogen shuts down the one arm of the immune system, the Th1 profile, the inflammatory profile. It shuts it down. And what happens is the reason for that is to preserve the embryo to stay and grow. And the second of all, in the autoimmune realm of things, it shuts down the autoimmune symptoms. It's amazing,
That's so
So
cool.
your estrogen going up is then it's talking to your immune system. It's like, we need to shut these down. She has a baby. We need to protect it.
That's
Isn't that cool?
so if you have an autoimmune disease, you should get pregnant.
Depends if you want to be big and swollen and, and it's not a solution, but that's how nature works.
That's so interesting.
Protect the baby. Yeah.
Wow. Oh
And
my,
when you are, during the milk period, when you're feeding the baby, still your estrogen is high to an extent, but not as high when you're pregnant. So your symptoms are less. So because you're dealing with the baby, it's pretty cool stuff. The
wow.
body is pretty cool.
Oh man, yeah, especially nurturing a baby, right? In the womb. I thought the craziest thing I thought was that our bloodstreams don't mix at all. Like baby and mom.
Doesn't.
That's nuts. It's literally inside you and it
But you
doesn't
get
mix.
it out. You carry her cells or his cells for the rest of your life. That is the epigenetic connection between you and your kid. That's
Yeah.
how you feel them.
It's wild. Yeah, and it's crazy how like I'll be watching my son and have like a friend over or I'll watch like someone's kid and I'm like I notice myself like kind of favoriting my child and I'm like, oh, that's kind of messed up. But I'm like, no, I think it makes sense like biologically. Like I favor my child more than like anyone else's.
Because your primary duty is to favor your child and protect it and nurture it. It's
like a biological thing.
Unfortunately, that's how it is. You can't change it. But that's the beauty of it. So that's another thing men cannot understand. Um, I mean, they love them, they're emotional, but it's never gonna be as you are connected to your kid because you created that person from a tiny little blood clot, let's say. It's tiny. It's a fertilized egg.
Yeah.
It's an embryo. So that is the cool part of it.
I love that. This conversation is so fun. So in your research, right? So how does your findings influence like current science as far as like aging? We talked about autoimmune and like skin sensitivity. So like how does what you have found out influence those things?
So sure. I mean, during my research, I realized there's more to inflammation. So inflammation is not bad, as I explained. So there are types of inflammation, right? So the first one that saves us from dying is acute inflammation. So the bacteria comes in, your body recognizes it, gives a signal, the innate immunity, the first line of soldiers come in, try to deal with it, and then calls the T cells, calls the NKs, then risk cells, everybody comes in, whole ruckus. That's why you start seeing the swelling and that warming because there's, your soldiers are coming there to defeat that little pesky bacteria. And then after they defeat it, like it goes up, the inflammation goes up and starts going down. And during that going down, the healing starts. And then everything goes back to normal. Everybody goes home to their barracks or whatever. However, in the chronic inflammation, it cannot go into the healing phase. It always stays up. So what happens? It starts destroying itself. That's the chronic inflammation. And then there is something else called inflammaging. Inflammaging is lower than chronic inflammation, higher than acute inflammation. It's like you're leaving your car and it's always, on the first year, it's working, like it's working. It's not going anywhere. It's just staying there. So that's inflammaging is a combination of two words, inflammation plus aging. It's a micrograde chronic inflammation. And why it is called inflammaging? Because it causes premature aging of the tissues and the cells. It can degrade the collagen tissue if we're looking at the skin. It can degrade the elastin tissue, elastin prematurely. And interestingly enough, this is the question I always get. What happens? Why inflammation happens? So one of the culprits is stress. We are bombarded by stress every day, especially 2025 has been hard. I mean, we've been having it hard since COVID, but this year has been extra hard because every day something is happening. You wake up, this happened, that happened, blah, blah, blah happened. Elon decided this. We're like, when did Elon come here? You where wasn't he doing Tesla? And he decided, hey, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm like, okay, whatever rocks your boat. I'm tired. But that's only the US. Then there's the world events.
Right.
And then there's the house events. And then there's the work stress. It adds up, adds up, adds up, adds up. And especially for women, because we deal with the home and the kids, and then, oh, what are we gonna cook tonight? Oh, there's chores. We can't catch a break. I'm not even counting the poor sleep and the fast food eating and all that.
Yeah, just stress. Wow.
And what happens when you have the stress? You can't sleep right.
Right.
Go to sleep deep, so you can't repair your body because you can't go into the REM cycle.
Wow.
And then you eat fast food because you don't have the time to prepare a good meal for you or sit down for 5 seconds and take a breather.
Yeah.
Or your brain says, I need comfort food, so you eat a tub of ice cream. And then okay, that was good because when you eat the ice cream afterwards, you're like, oh, I ate this. I sometimes,
We've all been there. Yeah.
But those add up.
It does.
Adds up. And then what are you going to do? It leads to inflammation. Everybody goes through this. I mean, can you imagine when you go to a vacation? Let's imagine that. You're on the coast,
yes,
Mediterranean, on a French.
Yes.
Okay. You're not doing anything. Everything is paid for.
Yes.
And your kids have a nanny.
Oh, yes. Keep going.
And then there's, I don't know, Pedro Pascal with lots of muscle bringing, I don't know, Cosmopolitan.
Yes, ma'am.
We're admiring God's work, let's call it. But can you imagine the relaxation of your brain and how you're feeling?
Yeah, I already feel no stress.
And then you come home, you have to cook, you have to do this, you have to go meetings, you have to do that. Da, 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 da. When do you catch a break? When do you take a breather?
Yeah.
That is what life does to you. Inflammaging.
Wow. Yeah, stress really is a huge cause to inflammation. I had never put those two and two together.
Yeah. And unfortunately in the United States, we can't go to the doctors as much as the Europeans do. So they can get checkups, and go do wellness checks. Here, it's even impossible to get a doctor's appointment. And
it's a 2-3 month wait.
Oh, yeah. Like, I just want to check up. Like, and they're like, what kind of checkup? I'm like, I want to have my cancer markers checked up. I want to have an MRI. I want you to have a look at my blood levels, like what is going on with my glucose, my thyroid, blah, blah, blah. I want a full checkup.
Yeah.
We don't have that. Well, I'm like, I'm going to find something. And they were like, we don't have that. But Europe has it. Turkey has it. I mean, Turkey has it.
Yeah.
There's a good YouTube video online, and if you go there, there's this girl who went to Turkey for a checkup, and she like from top to bottom, and she did a YouTube video. It was pretty amazing, by the way.
Oh, what was that called?
If you go to YouTube and Turkey checkup and medical, something like that, it will come up. But because it's cheaper there, it's cheaper there, and it's cheaper in Europe. Here, everything is too expensive. What are you gonna do? So,
She has a blonde hair and like a pink
yes,
streak. Okay, yeah, I see it.
founder. Okay. But it's pretty cool because, I mean, that's why everybody goes there for hair transplants, for dentistry, for plastic surgery, for giving birth sometimes because it's pretty good, you know?
Crazy. Yeah, that's nuts.
But it
It's
was
it's pretty wild. Yeah, just asking for kind of like basic, like tests like that. I've had friends tell me that the doctors will say like, "Oh, you don't need it." And it's like, I'm asking for it. So let me get it. It's weird. It's like
I'm
we have
gonna
to kind
pay.
of make demands for basic like information that would be helpful for us to know how we're doing health wise.
I know. But that's the thing. It shows up on your skin. Like all that stress, all that tiredness, everything shows up on your skin. So when you start looking very tired, very dull, you're breaking out, you have more sensitivities happening, and all of a sudden you look like you aged 5 years, that is inflammaging there because it's premature aging, but it's fixable. You can fix it, you know?
So how do you fix it?
Well, first of all, a lot of meditation, or you got a bat and you start meeting people that you don't like. But that's not a good idea. But, all kidding aside, um, there's a couple things you can do. You need to have your self-care moment. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, it could be calling your friend and and I'm gonna say a bitching session.
Yeah, I love those. Those are
That's
fun.
what I do with my friends. I'm like, guys, this is gonna be a bitching session.
I love that.
And we go. And because that venting out gets rid of that negative energy you have stored in your brain all day. You go talk, 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 and you just release it. That's one part. You can go for a walk if you want. If you like working out, you can go work out, release it. But you need to release the negative energy. Otherwise, it sits there and simmers and simmers and simmers, and it's not good. Definitely not good. If you like to do meditations, you can do meditations. Everybody has a different way of releasing the negative energy. So that's one thing. Second of all, if you can, I mean, have the ice cream, have the wine, but with moderation, Don't have the whole wine. That's not good, but just a tiny bit. It's hard. It requires discipline. And again, but that is your self-care. Because down the road, if you continue doing this, going with this lifestyle, you're gonna age faster than than other people who take care of themselves.
Mm.
What's gonna happen? You're gonna go to the doctor more, you're gonna have more pains, more aches, your muscles are gonna weaken faster, you're gonna look much, much older. Whatever you do, I mean, nobody's rich enough to do all the Botox that Kardashians do. Come on. I think they have stocks in there. But that's the thing. I mean, you know, you need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of the food you eat, the water you drink, even the water you drink. I don't like tap water, for example, because it changes. Bottled water is a better alternative. It's not the best alternative. But when I'm cooking, I use bottled water because the other day we got a boil adversary, like
You got a what?
they said boil the water, it's bad.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So I'm like, how many bacteria do we have there? And I'm like,
The immunologist is like,
paralyze this thing? Do I need an autoclave or something? I'm like thinking all that. I'm like, E. coli, how much E. coli do they have? You know? But that's the thing. You only get those warnings when it's way up, you know?
yeah, yeah.
So you know that it's there. So that's why I prefer bottled water.
That's amazing. So it sounds like to recap what you're saying, the number one takeaway is decrease your stress by doing some self-care moments of bitch sessions, of meditation, of walks, of exercise. Sounds like movement is kind of the best way to get it
Yeah.
out of your body. Is that kind of the mindset?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what's energy? Energy moves, right? Energy
Is this a
moves.
science question? Yes,
Uh,
energy moves. Ooh, yes, it does.
So, laws of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created from nothing and it cannot be destroyed, right? So, what does that mean? Energy cannot sit, it always moves, right? Even when you look at the wall, we can't see it, but every atom, every particle there are vibrating, they're moving constantly. You know, so when you think about your mental energy, it's not sitting there. Your monkey brain is chattering. It's like, oh, she said this. Oh, we need to do this. Oh, no, we need to do this. Da, 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 da. The monkey brain goes, quick, 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 quick.
Exactly. Yeah.
Never stops. When you're even sleeping, it never stops. You're seeing a dream. So
Right.
that energy, you decide where it goes. Or is it positive? Is it negative? You know, where it is your power. It's your magic to convert it however you like it.
Mm. Oh, this is so cool.
Now, I sound like the red witch, but
No.
but it's
No.
true. It's true.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So the rules of thermodynamics is energy can't be destroyed,
Yes.
only converted.
Yes.
That's amazing. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Well, and you said what is energy? Energy is movement.
Energy is energy. Everything is energy. The
Really?
air is energy, the water is energy,
So then is there different qualities of energy is kind of the other takeaway that there's like charges, or is there like low
Well, think
high?
about electricity. There's positive and negative, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or even in the magnets, you have a positive and a negative end. So if you bring, and we're going to physics now, not my strongest suit, but uh, if you have two magnets, right? And if you have the negative side to the negative side, it's going to push them away, right? So
Right.
if you have two negative people, let's put it that way, they're going to push each other away because they have so much negative energy, right? But if you flip the magnet, what happens? Negative side to positive side, it they attract each other.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that
Yeah,
experiment
yeah, yeah.
I spoke? Okay. So in a people's case, let's say a negative person versus positive, the negative person is going to pull out the and a positive energy from the positive person because that's what happens, right? So it attracts that person to their own field. Like, think you're at work, you have a negative colleague. Yeah, what happens? You eventually get into that negative field. That's what,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I feel like negative energy it can really affect so many positive people. They've done studies on that. I've heard of those for sure.
It's hard to
Yeah,
stay optimistic and
it
like
is.
but it's impossible sometimes. I mean, I'm not a always happy person, you
Yeah,
know. What you can do is walk away because your sanity and your brain and your soul and your body are precious.
they
And
are. Yeah,
nobody's worth that.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I agree so much. And I think that's like the power of boundaries, right? Like you say, if you're going to do that, I'm going to do this and head out. It's like you empower yourself and set those boundaries so that you take care of your energy. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
I mean, even doing nothing is doing something sometimes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That like what like the near what is it? Like an atom, right? There's like the neutral energy,
Yeah.
right? And up. I'm learning science again. Yay.
I mean, we moved to immunology, to physiology, to physics now. Everything is connected. All the science is connected. I mean, in the Middle Ages, the science was magic, right? Now science is science. Like the CERN experiments, they converted lead to gold.
Really?
Oh yeah, look online. You're gonna see it. It's pretty cool. And I didn't look into too much. I don't know the whole detail because that's quantum physics. That's way out of my league. But it's just fascinating because it's the arrangement. What is lead? It's a different formation of molecules, atoms, electrons, right? So if you have the right energy and the right setup to change the formation of the electrons and atoms, what do you get? You can get something else, right? So it's magic when you think about it.
It
But
is.
keep it scientifically, then it's science. But it's doable. All you have to, you know what Einstein said? All you have to do is imagine. It starts with your imagination.
Yeah. Oh, I love him. I love him so much.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's pretty I like that picture where he put his tongue down. He's like,
I love that picture. I love that picture too. I recently watched Oppenheimer. Have you seen that? Have you seen
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, when you're talking about like the changing and the manipulating of molecules, that literally made me think of Oppenheimer. And Einstein, he was like, I am not involving myself in anything with this. And I was like, good for him. He had strong boundaries too.
Oppenheimer knew what he was getting into. Then he says, I have become death, the destroyer of worlds. Come on, man. He knew what you were doing.
He did.
knows. I mean, they weren't going to use that for, the good of mankind. So that was war. So it's different. It's different. Different times, different thinking, different hopes, different dreams, and it goes some way, somehow. Who knows? But that's why I like history, because you can learn so much from history. So you don't have to, like, the humanity should not repeat it. That's why you have history.
Agreed. 1000%. Yeah. I have another question for you. So with your 25, is that how many? It's like 25-ish years of research. What has been the most insane thing, or the thing that was like mind-boggling about that 25 years of experience?
Research that it never ends. I used to find something and you just go down the rabbit hole.
There's just like endless things to discover.
Endless. And the more you find, the more fascinated you get. You feel like Indiana Jones. It's one finding after another and another, and you lose yourself. I mean, anybody who is listening right now, whoever worked in a lab or did research, it's painful. Okay, it's very painful. For art. But once you get in that rhythm, once you start finding stuff and it starts revealing itself to you, oh my God, it's so much. It's basically Indiana Jones. I'm not kidding you.
You're so passionate about it. I love it.
I love research. It's fun. And that's another thing. You learn a lot about yourself. Like when you're growing up, especially when you're a woman, right? They say, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. Da, 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 da. I'm like, hell no. You can do anything. You can learn anything. I mean, the stuff I learned on the way because I had to, because I couldn't find people to do it, you can learn a lot of stuff. And when you write it on your CV, sometimes, I get job interviews and they look at my CV and they're like, you're married. I'm like, yes, you're not supposed to ask me that. You have a kid. Yes, you're not supposed to ask me that either. And this was a woman who asked me this. And she said, and you're a woman. I'm like, no, I'm a giraffe. What do you think? Yes, I'm a woman. And she asked me, your CV is 13 pages long, the academic CV. My academic CV is 13 pages long with the publications and everything. She's like, and you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this. How did you do it? Why did you do it? I'm like, I had to do it because there was nobody else to do it. So I had to do it. So get the job done. So, and if a man did this, and I don't want to sound sexist, but if a man did this, it was going to be fine. But because I was married, I have a kid, and I'm a woman, it's a question mark. And I was questioned by a woman.
Yeah, that's
I was
nuts.
like, we're not having this job interview. We're not having this discussion. And if you believe you cannot do it and you projecting that on me right now, shame on you. What are you teaching to your kid? Girls can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
They can do anything. We're superheroes.
Yeah, that's so weird that so you had this experience where this female interviewer was baffled on it sounds like she was baffled that you were able to accomplish 13 pages of work and be a mom and be a wife. So it's like almost to say she didn't believe that you did it, or she was just like amazed that you were able to do it.
Believe me.
She didn't believe you.
Still believe me. So I said, here's three references. Go ask them. All professors.
She was like, this seems made up, is kind of her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, geez.
It was amazing. I'm like, that was weird. That was the weirdest job interview I ever had. I'm like, I don't have to prove anything to you. And here's if you don't believe me, here are my references. Go ask them. They're going to tell you who I am, what I do, what I can do, and what I cannot do. I mean, apparently I can't lift heavy stuff anymore because I'm tired. But that's the thing. Women can do everything. We can
Yeah.
do everything. And I am not happy with this role that has been preordained on us saying that, oh, you're a woman, you can't do that. I'm like, what? Who says that?
Yeah.
I mean, both of my brain, like both sides are working, constantly talking. So apparently I can.
So I can do it. So this is so cool. I love it. Sounds like you mesh your science background with your wellness and coaching background. How do you do it? It sounds like it just kind of comes from your personality, but I'd love to hear your methodology.
Well, sometimes it's tough love.
Tough love is good.
Against the wellness coaching that's usually with my friends. So with the wellness coaching, I want people to find their own way. We're just there to, listen. And usually they have the answers inside of them. But
Yeah.
sometimes we're afraid to see the answer, or we don't want to hear the answer, or we're not ready for the answer. So that's all we can do. Because in this society, nobody listens to anybody anymore. We talk, 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 talk too much. I mean, I'm talking too much right now, but
Well, that's the point. You are the
yeah, but that's the thing. Uh, everybody needs a safe harbor where you can dock your boat, just look at the sea, feel the breeze, and say, "Okay, I can rest here a little." A wellness coach, a health coach, is that. Where you dock your boat and take a breather. Have I don't know, martini while you're there. I don't know what, but that's the thing. That is the thing.
That's beautiful. So, what inspired you to create AveSeena? Did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, AveSeena is our wellness and skincare brand, and that focuses on combating the signs of inflammaging and sensitivities that come with it. And when I was doing my PhD, unfortunately, I broke out a lot. That sounds like a cheesy story, but it's true. And it hurts. Oh my God, it hurts. Um, So I was looking for a skincare, couldn't find anything. And the ones I bought, which they weren't cheap either. And when you're a student, every dime counts. And
Right.
it brought me out more. So I got also mad because this was from a big, big company. I can't say names, but big company against acne. Let's put it that way. Mint cream packaging. Let's say it that way. People will know. So, uh, I started reading the ingredients and I'm like, there's one hero ingredient. Rest of them are not, like maybe moisturizing everything, but that's it. That's it. And I didn't feel like the science was in there. And, since I was doing all this research on immunology, inflammation, and everything, I just got into another rabbit hole and I started reading cosmetic chemistry and learning it and formulation and all that to develop something for myself. And at the end of the day, I realized and there wasn't anything close to it. I mean, I'm the only immunologist in the whole beauty industry. Go figure. I
Wow.
wish there was more people, more scientists, but there's not. Uh, so that makes a difference, I think.
Yeah.
So that's why. And with AveSeena, I didn't want to come up with 5 creams or 5 serums or whatnot. As you can remember from COVID, if you touch your face or something like the mask touches your face too much, you get irritated. It's the same thing with skincare. If you strip your skin too much with a very harsh cleanser or use very harsh products, you're going to break out. And since we're all very stressed, we get sensitized easily. We get sensitive easily.
Mhm.
So the products we designed are multitasking and multifunctional. So, for example, and the eye concentrate, right? So usually in the beauty industry, when you are going for an eye cream, it maybe corrects 2 problems. Let's say a wrinkle and puffy eyes. Because they want to have other products to solve the rest of the problems so they can sell that product to you. Profit, right? However, a good formulator can pack all those ingredients, know how those ingredients work, and pack all those in there to solve all the problems you can. Puffiness, dryness, dullness, fine wrinkles, and the little duck
Crow's
feet.
feet.
Yeah, called crow feet. I call it duck feet. It's
Duck feet. I love it.
I don't know why. It reminds me of ducks. But all that you can solve it. So that's the point. You can use one product with ours, a cream or a serum, but you're done. And it's concentrated, so you don't need to use a lot. What does that mean? Every drop you're saving. You don't have to smear a huge dollop on your face to get the results. Just one drop or two, and you're done. So that is the thing with AveSeena. Simple, easy, not time consuming. And you don't have to worry because we did all the tests. We follow all the European Council cosmetic regulation rules because they're very detailed.
More than the American ones, I'm sure. Wow. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I just like from my experience, I luckily have really nice skin like my whole life, and my brothers were not so fortunate. They took I can't remember what ones they took. It was the one where you had to draw blood to take it, the Accutane.
Accutane. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they did like the serious
Yes,
face.
it's heavy.
Oh, it's heavy. Yeah, you had to draw blood every month to make sure it wasn't like damaging your liver or your kidneys. I can't remember.
Look,
So
look.
serious. They had really bad acne. And I didn't, and I don't know why I was the lucky one, but um I just I decided to start trying products kind of like you in college. And everything I tried just hurt my face. And it was like I would break out, not break out in acne, but like rashes. And like I've done facials just for fun. And they're like, I get these huge rashes. Like they're like crazy. And I'm like, it just feels so abrasive. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just that type of person that doesn't like need it or, but I want to try it. And that's why, like, I think your product sounds like it would be a good one for me because I feel like I want to take care of my skin, but every time I've tried, it just is like chaos. And I'm like, I don't need it, but I kind of want it. So yeah, I'm wondering what your take on that is.
So that means you're very sensitive. Your microbiome is very sensitive, and your immune system says, "Oh, don't mess with me," you know?
Yeah, that's I
Has
feel
its own immune system as well. So definitely, your skin will like acidic toners, very strong products. That's what I'm hearing from you. So in your case, you just need a very mild cleanser, pH balanced. And then you don't have to wash your face with the cleanser in the morning, maybe very little. Just and there is this mistake. People think that if the cleanser is foaming like crazy, it's a good thing. No, it's not. It's your face is not your hair. It doesn't have to foam like crazy. So and people like to use soap on their face, which is a no-no because the pH of the soap is around 10 to 11, and your face is 4.5 to 5. So
it's like
they
double. Oh my God.
so it's lower. It's more acidic, and the soap is basic. So if you use that, you're disturbing your pH balance. So
That's so interesting. So your face has a different pH because if I think about what you're saying, there's like this, it's like a bar, right? And it's the acidity versus the what's the other side?
basic, neutral, acidic.
Yeah. And so there's different pH levels that your face has
Right.
versus your
Your
body.
skin pH is 4.5, 5, maybe a little bit above 5, depends. Again, that's a very personalized thing, but that's the range. So if you use a soap, that soap pH is around 10, 11. So you're pulling your skin pH towards that way. Because, like, for example, you got pH 5, right? Liquid with a pH 5, and then you have a liquid with a pH 11. You combine them, what happens? The pH of the lower one goes up, right?
Oh, okay.
So you don't want that because that will disturb your skin microbiome balance and all that. So you don't want that. You want to keep your skin pH as normal as possible, you
Yeah.
know, they're balanced. So it's all about the balance.
That is so, when I hear microbiome, I think of my gut. I had never thought of microbiome in skin.
Microbiome is everywhere. You have every so
Blowing my
microbiome.
mind.
Well, microbiome is like this. So you have skin barrier, you have microbiome, right? So microbiome, think like good bacteria on
Yeah.
your skin, standing shoulder by shoulder, shoulder to shoulder. Okay, so and creating this wall.
Okay.
Okay, so when you had that wall, the bad bacteria can't pass. Of
So
course, there's a lot of walls in between, but that's one of the mechanisms. Body never relies on one protection mechanism. It always have a backup of a backup of a backup. Oh yeah.
that's
Uh,
so cool.
Pretty cool. So that microbiome, when it stands shoulder to shoulder, the bad bacteria cannot get in, squeeze in, and stay there and reproduce. Okay. But
Good question. Is the bad bacteria coming from like just normal day to day, like
yeah,
dirt?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. It could be anything. So for example, if your microbiome balance goes out of whack and they cannot stand shoulder to shoulder anymore, and you have chinks in the armor, the bad bacteria goes, "Ooh, I have space to grow," and it goes in there,
I love the
and
twiddling thumbs.
oh yeah, it starts reproducing and all that, and it starts pushing the other guys, and then um the skin tries to fix it, but it cannot fix it. Then the skin microbiome starts signaling inside with cytokines and proteins and all that and says, not cytokines, but proteins, different proteins, signaling proteins. And it goes, we need help here, Army. Hi. And then the skin immunity, like the response comes in and comes to destroy it. That's why your skin feels irritated, redness, itchy, that kind of thing. So that's the whole thing. Your army coming to protect you. But your duty is to protect that balance. That is your duty. But if you're putting acid toner every 5 seconds and then putting retinol on top of it, well, there's not much microbiome there left to save you, you know?
That's amazing. So yeah, I've heard about retinol. Does your product use retinol or what's
I
your
don't have retinol in these ones, no.
Okay, what is retinol? I keep hearing that word and I'm like, I don't even know what it means.
It's a vitamin A derivative. It helps certain cases, but I can't use it. It hurts me. So, I know, yeah, and I have a really tough skin, like, and it doesn't get hurt very easily, but for somehow I can't use retinol. Everybody's different.
Right, it's so true. Yeah, yeah, it's so true. So what what about I'm so curious about your research on like wrinkles and that puffy eye thing. What it's you mentioned some like elasticity of the skin. Is that talk to us about that?
Sure. I mean, around the eyes, you squint all day, right? Especially, that's why I like sunglasses. So it kind of stops the squinting. However, as you get older, you're going to have the crow feet, and because your eyes have the thinnest skin in all your body. So it's very susceptible to aging.
Yeah.
And, computers are not helping, right?
Oh,
iPhones are not very helping. So a good eye cream helps actually to fortify the barriers, let's say. So that's the whole thing. And peptides, in that concentrate, we have peptides, niacinamide, caffeine, um, Persian silk tree extract, which I love. Uh,
wow. That
yeah,
sounds so bougie. What'd you say?
pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and so those um ingredients are in your products.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow. I want to buy it right now. Wow, that's so cool. So you were like, there's nothing out there for me. So you had developed this in college,
When I was doing my PhD, yes.
in your PhD. Oh my God. Wow. And so how long have you been working on this product? What was the final launch? Why AveSeena?
Well, we launched and rebranded. We launched before COVID, then COVID hit, so we decided to take that time to rebrand a couple things, add a couple more products. So we launched in 20 and end of 2020, yeah, with 6 products. The cleanser, a serum, an oil, an eye concentrate, which is an eye cream, um, a cream, and a honey mask. So unfortunately, I think we're gonna discontinue the honey mask because I cannot find the honey that I like.
Mm,
That quality. Unfortunately, it's harder and harder to find it because of the tariffs. So that's the people ask me sometimes what impacted you. It's impacting one of our products, and I'm trying to find a solution for it right now, actually, these days.
so tough.
Um, it's a good mask. It's a honey mask. I love that mask. But that is why, I mean, AveSeena was founded not on transactions. Let me put it that way. It's founded to bring transformations, founded to bring science to it. Of course, we have to charge for the science because, there's so much research and so much work behind it, but it works. It works. I love it. I mean, I use it myself. Look at my face.
It's flawless. Yeah, you have beautiful
I
skin.
love it.
How
Absolutely.
old are you? I hate this question. Why do people give me this question?
I love it. I love this question. Ask me.
35?
54.
Stop it. You look so young.
Yes.
54. Okay. And I need to buy your product. I need to look like this.
I'm not kidding you.
That's amazing.
Can do anything. Women can do anything. Ask me when I give birth, what age I was.
Well, you said you have a 4-year-old. So you
I gave birth at 49.
stop it.
Yes. Women can do anything. I'm a testament to that.
Nice.
Women can do anything.
I know.
Celebrities, no one's like, I think, what was it? Hillary? One of the celebrities. They were like, oh, I gave birth when I was 45. I'm like, I beat you. 49.
I beat you. Oh, you're such an inspiration.
Women can do anything.
I love that. Yeah.
Women, they are so strong.
Yeah.
When we're in the corner, when we're pushed into the corner, we come up with ideas and survival mode. It is scary. It is scary. Try to piss off a woman about their kid and then watch.
Mama bear.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah. And I love it. I love it. And I would stand with any woman who's defending their own child. I mean, I would be there with the bat. I was like, who are we beating? Whose car are we taking?
Whose tires are we slashing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's something really interesting about motherhood. I love that you're talking about this. It's this it awoke in me, and it sounds like maybe for you, this rage. It's this emotion of rage that I had never known. And it's beautiful, actually. Like it's very beautiful that I have such passion to protect a life, like at my own expense. Like it's a drive in me that's very deep, and sometimes I have to keep it in check, the rage, right? And make sure it's going to the right person, potentially, right? Like making sure it's going to the threat and not someone I love. But I don't know if you've experienced that, but I want to explore that more because it awoke in me rage and
Normal. That is perfectly normal. And um it's interesting. Women have been given this role of princessy and all that. No, women are warriors. Women are Athena or Amazon or, all that. I mean, the story of the Amazons, if you look at it,
from the Marvels.
no, Amazons are real. Like when you look at the Homer and everybody, back in the history, Amazons are real. It's a tribe that lived on the coast of Black Sea. So
It's what the Marvels were inspired by.
yeah, yeah, it's
That's
real.
so cool.
So I mean, if those women could do it, what's the society have been telling us? Like, you're weak, you're doing this, you're doing that. I was like, okay, if you are weak, if women are weak, how do they have 5 children, feed them, and nurture them and make them decent human beings? I don't know anything stronger than this.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely amazing what we do.
And rage is just a different form of energy. You're a warrior now. You're her guardian. You're her protector. It's protector. So it's a circle. Your mom protected you. You're protecting your kid. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, you're such an inspiration. Okay, last question before we head out. So for someone who's just starting a skincare routine or wellness routine, we talked about stress, but aside from stress management, what's the best way to start?
Best way to start is try to find scientifically rooted skincare. And this is aside from our skincare. I'm gonna note that. Go for a very gentle cleanser. Okay. And if you are not sure, start with a tester. Don't invest in a big chunk of money. Get a tester, test it. If you like it, go for it. I mean, we have a tester kit, and when you purchase that, they always come to me. It's like, which product should they go? And if they're using the first time, it's like, go for the tester. And they always get surprised because every brand pushes them to the most expensive product. I'm like, no, no. Go for the tester, buy the tester, try it. If you like it, you get 15% off, which makes that kit basically for free. And then you'll get something. So go for a company that does this for you.
Yeah. That sounds like it would make sense because everyone's biology is different.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're not gonna like the scent, maybe you're not gonna like the texture, but go for the tester. Because that's another thing. Today's economy is ever changing, and the prices are going up. I think we have inflation somehow. I don't know. Don't quote me on that one. But nobody's rich enough to buy cheap products. Nobody is rich enough to buy bad products. So this is your due diligence. Read it, research it, look at the website, make sure they're completely transparent. You can see the ingredients, you can see the science, you can see what it does. If there's a before and after, look at those. If there's reviews, read those. Because after all, it's your skin.
Right.
And this is coming from a brand owner. No, none of the brand owners say this, but I say it. And because at the end of the day, it's people that are important. And if you're happy, I'm happy,
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I love that. So make sure it's science-based and make sure that you start with like a gentle cleanser.
Yes.
And
a gentle cleanser. If you're more oily, go for a water-based serum. If you like using creams, find a good cream that's going to work for you with, not one hero ingredient, but multiple hero ingredients. And you can use the same cream at night if it's formulated right.
wow. Okay. Oh, I learned so much today. I'm like trying to soak it all in. So where can the listeners find you or your brand? How can people get connected with you?
Sure. They can visit us at our website, AveSeena.com. It's AVESEENA.com. And if they have any skincare questions, there's a contact us forum. They can send an email from there. They can reach us from Instagram. We have an AveSeena Instagram page, YouTube page. We're on TikTok too, Facebook, and Pinterest, all under the name of AveSeena.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, this was such a joy. You are hilarious, passionate, inspiring. You're like so fun to interview. I cannot wait to re-listen to this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, before you go, I need you to hear this. You don't need to keep white knuckling your way through life. You don't need to figure it out on your own. You deserve support. You deserve strategy. You deserve to feel like yourself again. And that's exactly why I'm offering you a complimentary free 30-minute coaching session. No strings, no pressure, just real conversation, real breakthroughs, and a real chance to feel lighter, clearer, and way more in control. If you've been listening and nodding your head thinking, oh, yes, that's me, then this is the moment to stop thinking and start doing. Click the link in the show notes and schedule your free session right now. Right now, not later, not when you have time, right this moment, because you're worth showing up for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram at healing_with_Haley. I am here for you, but don't overthink it. What you're going to do in this free session is we're going to unpack any negative belief systems, build momentum with clear strategies, leave you feeling lighter, calmer, more confident, more grounded. These are the emotions you're going to feel after a session with me. Don't overthink it. The life you want starts with one decision. This could be the one thing that changes everything for you this year. Let's do this.